Well, hey everybody, it's Wes Hagen. Coming on a little bit early, see if anyone has any questions, and just to make sure we've got all of this technology stuff all worked out, and give anyone who's going to watch plenty of time to invite some friends. Wine is always delicious with extra people. Oh, Jolie, you're always the first one here. That's why we love you. How are you doing? I've been enjoying your posts, and I like that the owner of Blaze Pizza looked like he chimed in on your Facebook page. So congratulations, that was kind of cool. If I could eat pizza on a regular basis, I would probably eat there quite a bit. The one experience I had at the restaurant was quite delicious at the Glendale Galleria. Welcome, guys. And we're going to be talking a little bit about this Smashberry Rosé today. If you have any questions about rosé, we're also going to be talking about the importance of a wine cellar. Obviously, cellars being something that were around, before a lot of refrigeration and stuff. Root cellars, apple cellars, all these things. That wine cellar, that seems like the idea of a wine cellar for sort of the common man kind of has its time. I think we all can clearly especially those of us that have some wine in their house, like I've got a couple hundred bottles, and I'll be talking about this, that having those hundreds of bottles just gives me a feeling of safety. That as crazy as the world can get, I'm stocked up on wine. It seems like a weird, almost elite thing to say, but as wine is something that gives me a lot of daily pleasure, something that I really want to focus on. Oh, your cousin is one of the owners. Well, they're making good pizza. Eric Nickerson. What up? Hi, Beth. Keith. Jenny. Hi, Jenny. Hope you had a wonderful trip up. I'm sorry I didn't say. And thank you for the case of beer. I'm actually measuring my time in quarantine by how much Pliny I still have left in the fridge. So down to 13 Pliny's. So I'll do maybe two a week and never run out. And Casey, Cece is one of my favorite. Her name is Cece Harley, which guarantees she will eventually be a Marvel superhero. Hey, Peregrine, you want to come up and say hi? So that's Peregrine. He's an Italian Greyhound. He's just fine with this. He doesn't like going outside at all. And one thing I've clearly learned throughout all this madness is that I married the right woman, because I think we've had some of the most calm, wonderful moments. Chanda's sort of down with a migraine right now, and I'm trying to take care of her as much as I can. But having dogs and someone you really care about, boy, that really, really is a lot. Oh, hey, Beth. Peregrine says hi. Yay, wine. Yay, rosé. I'm so happy. He likes to see the world he likes to sort of perch and do what we call the velociraptor. Oh, are you thinking you're going to get some food? Is it just about time? Okay, well, why don't you go up and do your thing? Cool. Well, we've done the dog. We've done just about everything else. Just a couple of minutes, we're going to open this up. Also looking for some ideas. I was trying to figure out a name for this series. My first idea was Day Drinking with Wes Hagen, and I guess if we consider 5 o'clock day, then that's perfectly fine. But I do maintain a fairly good amount of sobriety during the workday, and I'm able to do almost, besides the travel and all that stuff. It's amazing all the stuff we can kind of get going remotely, and all the new ideas that I'm kind of having on how to market and talk about wine without actually having to leave the house. So that is going to be something that I'm going to be thinking about. Right now, I'm kind of like thinking like tasting notes from the edge or something, or I kind of like day drinking with Wes Hagen though. And also, one idea I had for upcoming, I'm going to be doing like 5 or 10 minutes. I know this is going to be a little longer because I came on early, but maybe this on a nightly basis. Might take the weekends off. I don't know. It's not that tough. And it's drinking. But I was thinking also about someone had mentioned, hey, why don't you do your own version of drunk history for the history of intoxication. So I guess I would have to be careful because I am a type 1 diabetic and I can't drink as much as I used to. But I think I could probably manage to take a couple shots and tell you guys a good story. Try to do sort of the history of wine, 5 shots or less, something like that. Kind of fun. Excellent, excellent. All right, I'm going to finish a bit of water to keep all the stuff. And again, if you guys have any other people you'd like to invite or questions you'd like to ask, please go ahead and put them down in the comment section. And I will read this after it's been online for a little while and doing that thing. And there's Curtis. Love me some Curtis. Curtis has the shirt that was purchased at the exact same moment as this shirt was. So I hope you're wearing it with pride out there in beautiful St. Louis, Missouri. And I do miss St. Louis. I miss barbecue. It's like you travel and you travel and you travel and you think, oh, I'm going to get a little break from it. And then it's funny the things you actually start missing, and it's also amazing how much I've been cooking and how much time we've been really spending over food. It's nice when you have a little extra time to put all this stuff together. So, okay, so let me see. Oh, I see. There it is. Amelia, one of my favorite Missourians. One of my favorite people. Amelia, I hope you are well, and I hope you're not going stir crazy. Hey, Phil. I just found out that a wine and West. There you go. That's another good idea. For some reason, though, I really like day drinking with Wes Hagen. But, it is what it is. It is what it is. We're having fun. Cool. Well, as people start to come in, I'm going to couple things. Number one, and I'll mention this at the end of the tasting because I'm still receiving a paycheck to sell these wines. So really interesting, this morning at our weekly sales meeting, we were told that we're doing probably a 3-week sale on some of our $15 wines, and we're cutting them all down to $7.50 a bottle, $7.50 a bottle, and doing 1 cent shipping on 1 bottle or 120. So if you're looking for a really great way to give yourself some delicious everyday drinking wine, we're going to be talking about the Smashberry, Ballard Lane, and Barrel Burner. So everything but the J. Wilkes, and I'm sure we'll probably do a J. Wilkes sale at some point too. But these are the wines that we have the highest level of inventory in. And these are wines that most of them have 90+ scores in Wine Enthusiast, Tasting Panel, Wine Spectator. So these are really, really damn good wines for an amazingly small amount of money. So I did a little post on my Facebook page that you could basically put together a 48 bottle, 4-case mini wine cellar with our current sale for under $350 delivered. So that's pretty good deal considering how much toilet paper people are starting to hoard. And now it is almost officially 5 o'clock, in which there it is, 5 o'clock, right on the dot. So I want to remind you guys that unless you're in the quarantine area in France, this is not a quarantine. This is a sparkling isolation. So don't forget that. It is not a quarantine unless you're in Corinth, France. And that's where we're starting with that. One thing I really wanted to talk just a minute before I open this delicious rosé is community and table and how we're being affected by this. Because, I always say that a bottle of wine is an investment to keep the people we love at table for an extra hour every day. Well, now we're with the same damn people every day. So it's a good chance to kind of release and have some good conversation. What I find about this experience is that the communication is pretty good, but I think sometimes people shut inside themselves too. And having a time to sort of unload over an hour or two at table every night, cook some delicious food, get to table, open a bottle of wine, either for yourself or for the person you're going through this with. Might be even a good time to start mixing a little water with wine and getting maybe the kids will sleep better. I'm not telling you to give wine to your kids, but I was given wine as a child constantly Very, very, and I think having the ability to consume wine in a very controlled environment and modeling proper alcohol behavior so you don't go off on your first drinking behavior, your drinking trip and drinking 12 beers and barfing in the bushes, because that's probably not very healthy for you. So being at table, being around the people we love and the people that we're going through this with is so important. And I honestly think that, making sure that you have wine and that you're drinking it and you're enjoying your time with your people. And I also, I heard someone say something really, really smart this morning, and that was, I don't want to end up at the end of this thing thinking that I wasted this time. So how are we going to better ourselves? What kind of compassion are we going to show? What kind of community are we going to show? And how are we going to get out of this as better people than when we came in? And I think a really important answer to that has nothing to do with alcohol. It's nothing to do with wine or intoxication. It has to do with community, and it has to do with resource management. I am thinking about every resource I use. Every time I wash my hands, I'm starting to think, I wonder how all this hand washing is, impacting the remaining drought in California. Every time I open a bag of food, every time I throw away packaging, every time I go to the trash. So I think this could end up being something that really changes us fundamentally as human beings. And I'll tell you what, if you are not thanking every single person that's still working through this to get you food, to get you medicine, first responders, all that stuff, you really, really should understand that there's some people going through life-threatening problems right now to make sure that we're okay. So I want to thank each and every one of those people. And if I meet them, and if you are, wherever I do meet you, I will make sure I will give you a bottle of wine, because I really appreciate the people that are selling me food and taking care of us and keeping our internet. And by the way, is there any question that right now that the internet should be declared a utility? I mean, what if the internet went down? I bet if you would ask people, would they rather lose their electricity? Well, I guess that wouldn't make any sense. Hot water or the internet? I'd be surprised. I bet you'd be surprised how many people would probably give up hot water for the internet right now. So anyways, Peter and Elaine, it's good to see you. Hope everything's good in Vegas. I heard Vegas is getting hit really, really hard. Also, we should all try to find ways to support the people that we know and love that work in hospitality. Hospitality is one of those industries, whether you work as a waiter or a cook or a bartender. These are the people that give us a comfortable place to sit and to enjoy the manifest beauty of this world. They work hard for not a lot of money, and now they're basically screwed. They're basically out of a job. So two of my very best friends in the world are both professional servers, and they do very, very well for themselves. But now I guess, probably the highest paid hospitality workers in the world right now are probably pizza delivery people, which is great for them, but it's a sad commentary that we're in a society that maybe we don't take our servers quite as serious. And the Miller Family Wine Company is actually looking at a program that we can start putting a little bit of money aside from every bottle of wine we serve to help our servers and help our hospitality professionals get through this difficult time. But let's talk about wine. So Smashberry. So Smashberry we finally have a rosé. We had a Smashberry white, a Smashberry red. Smashberry white's being reworked right now into something as delicious, hopefully, as it used to be. So this Smashberry rosé is a 2019 rosé, and it is 78% Grenache, 17% Syrah, and the last little splash is Chardonnay. A lot of rosés can be improved by blending a small amount of aromatic or white wine into it. In fact, sometimes the best rosés I've ever had have had a little Muscat or a little Riesling or a little Gewürztraminer. So I think that the Chardonnay really brightens this nicely. It's got good acidity, it's nice and crisp, and this is what you're waiting for. It looks like it might be slightly sweet. It is not. It is almost bone effing dry, like 2.5 grams of residual sugar, which is 0.25% by volume. Most palates, like a master somm or someone who tastes wine professionally, can usually pick up residual sugar at about 3 grams per liter. Most women can also pick up residual sugar at about 3 grams per liter. Most men, 4 to 5 grams per liter. So this is half of your sensory level. So it is dry. And by the way, if you're doing screw caps these days, and who isn't, open it from the collar. So if you open it up here, I've cut myself a few times. So now I'm grabbing it by the collar, giving it a twist, Pop off the top. That beautiful salmon skin color. Let's see, I got to think about how to do this. Oh, now you see my notes. Beautiful salmon skin color. Everywhere I've poured this wine, the first thing people always tell me is, God, that color looks beautiful. You know, I always think of classic rosé aromatics, especially in the Grenache world. I think of unripe strawberry. I think of a little bit of cherry. Grapefruit is very, very common aroma. Now, these were red grapes though, right? And predominantly 95% of what is in here is Grenache and Syrah. So why would it not have the same aromatic profile as a Syrah or Grenache? Where's the white pepper? Where's the blackberry? Where's the currant or some of those dark red and purple berry fruits? Well, number one, I don't really care what people smell in wine. What I care about is it's delicious. And this one is an absolute session. It's got moderate alcohol at 13%. It was picked at a reasonable level of brick. So the alcohol, it wasn't watered down. It was just basically picked at the proper levels of acidity and sugar to make an amazingly bright wine. I think about what I want to eat with this, and I start thinking like 4 Dungeness crabs and a bucket of garlic butter and a hammer. And just an attitude those crustaceans owe me money, because they do, those bastards. They do. And I will crunch them and I will eat them. But this just screams just like, I can't eat bread anymore, but like a huge like loaf of like perfect like Bodine sourdough and a bunch of crabs. I don't know why I'm thinking of San Francisco, but I've been thinking of San Fran a lot because it's some place that I used to travel to, and I was supposed to be there a couple of weeks ago and missed out on my chance for some hogwater sweets and all those delicious things. So I want to obviously do everything I can to get back in the city sometime soon. So it's juicy, it's bright. I would say a little bit of strawberry, a little bit of grapefruit. It's got a little kind of like stone fruit thing kind of going on as well. I stayed sober all day just for that. Oh, the greatest spice is hunger. Is that one of the greatest quotes of all time? I love that quote. And I'll tell you what, a nice cold glass of rosé after a day slaving over the internet, using zeros and ones to get people fired up about wine. This is why I love the analog world. Absolutely delicious. So, okay, Michael Holland, is the rosé a bleed or it's dedicated? It is dedicated. This is not, and if Larry Schaefer was here, he'd say, don't say it, don't say it. This is not a rosé that's made as a byproduct of fermentation. We did not bleed off some juice just to make the rest of, there's really 2 ways to make rosé. Number one, you make it in the traditional way of making rosé, which is you basically farm the grapes for rosé. You try to get a little more character and flavor in lower brick. So you might pull some extra leaves. You might do some stuff that might not be smart to do viticulturally for an entire vineyard. I would say definitely open canopy management to try to get a little more flavor development in lower sugar grapes. And then you're picking between 19 and 22 bricks. Your other option is you can make your red wine bigger, stronger, more tannic, and a little more chewy by bleeding off up to 10% of the juice after you crush the grapes at harvest. And that's called saigner, which means to bleed. So we were very sanguine. So you can either bleed the juice off and ferment the pink juice into a rosé. Generally, those rosés are a little darker, a little more electric, kind of strawberry in color, and they've got alcohols 13, 14, sometimes even 15%. I like rosé like a lager. I like rosé to be crisp and bright and not overdone and lower in alcohol. So I can have a glass, 2 glasses, maybe even 3. It's a great session beverage. And I think that if a rosé is 15% alcohol, you just lost the entire reason I drink rosé. So it's a rosé of Grenache, 78%, 17% Syrah, and 5% Chardonnay. And it is Paso Robles appellated because really all these grapes come from the French Camp Vineyard up in the Paso Robles Highlands district. Out of the 12 AVAs in Paso, we are south of Shandon, east of Creston, on the southeast corner of all the combined Paso appellations. So we are the furthest south, furthest east, highest average elevation in the Paso Robles Highlands district, and it has the highest diurnal shift of any AVA in the United States. So daytime high, nighttime low between April and October, 50 degrees on average, 50. So if it's 100 degrees during the day, it goes down to 50 at night. If it's 90, it'll go down to 40. I mean, it's an average, but it generally has very high, very hot days and very cold nights. And that's really important. Why are cold nights important to growing wine? Because when a vine decides that it could theoretically get cold enough to frost or to have a cold snap, the vine protects itself by closing its stomata and stopping any type of respiration, which means the loss of acid stops. So how do you keep acid from leaking out of your grapes? Well, you grow them in a region that gets cold at night. So if you're growing your grapes, one reason why if you've ever driven by like Malibu, California, and you see the vineyards never go to sleep because they don't get chilled enough to actually fully put themselves in dormancy. And that's exactly going on. All right. Syrah, Grenache, Mourvedre, Counois, and Cinsault make the best rosé. I think in general, the people of the Rhone Valley loved rosé so much that I think, I'm sure there's people that would argue with me, but Tavel to me probably represents my favorite rosé in the world. I think Tavel, when done right, can be absolutely freaking stunning. And they age. Let's talk about that. Why do we think rosé is like Nouveau Beaujolais? I've had rosés, some Tempier and some other stuff that goes 10 years and it just gets nutty and delicious and bright and just it gets much more complex and to me delivers a lot more pleasure than just a bright young rosé. Now, I'm not saying you should lay all rosés down. I think a lot of rosés are meant to be consumed very fast. And at 5 o'clock. That really isn't quite nice. This one really does have pretty good acidity. And I think it'll work really well as a session beverage, just a porch pounder. But I really do think this wine will be gorgeous with food. And even though it has kind of a snazzy millennial eye-grabbing label, it is a very traditional rosé. And again, if you can taste sugar in it, you got a better palate than I do because it strikes me as absolutely bone dry. Templeton Gap would be a little bit further. I'm reading a question from Elaine and Scott. So you're going to be far southern and eastern of Templeton. So Templeton Gap is going to be a little cooler, a little more ocean influence. And I think down in the Paso Robles Highlands district, it's I don't know why Paso passed 11 AVAs on the same day. I think AVA should be like a good album from the rock band Boston. They did an album every 7 years. And that's exactly how often we should get a new AVA in any given read. I just often happen to say that because I wrote basically the AVAs in Santa Barbara 7 years apart. So we had, just about in the last, 20 years, we've had 3 AVAs, 4 now with Los Olivos district. But I do think, calm down, 11 AVAs. Poor Psalms have to learn all that stuff for the test. 11 AVAs. It would leave a kind of a bitter taste in my mouth. I'd probably have less likely to sell Paso wine. But this is, again, Paso appellated, just as it says Paso Robles, but it is actually 100% Paso Robles Highlands District and 100% French Camp, which makes it SIP certified. So it is certified sustainable by both California Association of Wine Growers, COG, as well as the Central Coast Vineyard Team, SIP, Sustainability in Practice. A group that I've been working with for over 20 years, and a group that really helped define what sustainability is in California. Porch pounder, oh yeah. So yes, rosé all day means a whole new thing with the quarantine. Yeah, and again, don't call it quarantine if you're not in Courant, France. It is sparkling isolation. All right. Okay, so Hillary's being entertained. That's fine. I might even, and again, so what is that? When does that sale on these wines begin? It should be active right now. Make sure you see that there's a code on that post. The post should be just, I guess, below the Facebook Live that we're doing right now. And every single wine, we even have Smashberry in cans at $3.75 a can. And that can's a full half bottle of wine. That's a 12-ounce can. Bottle of wine's 24.5 ounces. Cool. Love listening to your chat about wine. Oh, that's very kind. Oh, Patty. Speaking of hospitality professionals, I hope you are well, Patty. If you need anything from me, I got your back. And hopefully once this is all behind us and we can start traveling and visiting each other again, we should probably celebrate with everybody who watches this. You should also make a road trip out to Santa Maria, and we'll meet at like Bien Nacido and just have a huge blowout and do everything that we're not doing, hugging and drinking Corona beer. Do you remember when Mexican beer was better than American beer? Remember when the craft beer scene basically consisted of what? Michelob and Anchor Steam? My dad drank Anchor Steam. My dad knew good beer back in the day. Cool. Well, if I'm going to leave you guys with, I'm going to leave myself another little splash. And I'm doing this every day, man. Day drinking with Wes Hagen. It's official. That's what we're calling it. And I really do appreciate all of you. And I do appreciate your kindness, your compassion, your commitment to making this world a better place during this difficulty and after. I think this is a huge challenge for all of us. And it's once we look back on it, I think it's going to make us all better people. So share a bottle of wine with someone you love tonight. If you can't be with someone you love tonight, find a way that you can make someone's life better, because that will fill your heart in the same way. And if there's anything I can do for you, if you have subjects you want to learn, we're definitely going to do the drunk history thing. Absolutely. The history of intoxication. I'll try to get permission to do a little drinking on that one too. So it'll be fun to watch. Okay, guys, I hope all of you, I've got a couple more comments that I'm going to check on, and then I'll let all you fine people go. Late June. Yeah, and definitely make a plan to go to Vegas this year. They will really need that. I read something about some horrible number on what's happening to the Vegas economy right now. So please do plan on coming to the tasting room when we reopen in Santa Barbara. Our tasting room's right there on 35 State Street next to Finney's. It's fantastic. Check out the special offer we're doing. So it's basically 1 cent shipping and $7.50 bottles. They should be fantastic. All right, I will stay well, and thank you all of you for your participation. Let your friends know that we're going to be day drinking at 5 o'clock every day. What else are they going to be doing? So may do some beer, may do some spirits. I'm getting into mezcal, but we'll definitely do a Miller family wine every night so I can justify this and continue drawing a paycheck. Open that bottle night. Michael Holland on Saturday the 28th. Yes. Oh, yeah, and it's my birthday on Wednesday. I'm going to have to do something. Crazy few years on my birthdays. Last year, I found out I had type 1 diabetes, and this year I'm stuck in the house. So maybe it's my fault. Hold on. Enjoy your sparkling isolation. I'll see you tomorrow at 5 o'clock. This was a little long today. As you know, I have a hard time keeping anything to 5 minutes. That was a nice softball for someone who wants to make fun of me. So have fun out there. Enjoy yourself. And, oh, hi, Rick. Walking under the influence. Yes, absolutely. And your next wine tasting, you'll just can put different wines in different rooms and walk around and pretend you're doing something different. All right, stay good news. Let's support all of our friends and make sure everyone's doing well. Reach out to someone you haven't talked to in a while, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.